the McDonald Juicy Scoop.
Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. I have two of your favorites, Brandy and Julie. Julie and Brandy. I never know which name to say first. I don't know if that's like a weird thing with you guys.
We usually do Julie and Brandy first just because Julie is the bigger star.
Oh, okay.
And funnier.
All right.
But
Bigger.
people
Julie and Brandy.
they always get it mixed up.
Okay.
People think Brandy is like a dykey name to the end of time.
Oh, okay.
They really do. I think they think of Julie's as blondes, even though I'm not blonde anymore. But I always say like Julie Jewish, Brandy bitch. When we first meet people, try to make them remember, but they always mix it up.
Okay.
Always.
Great. Also, I wanted to say there's been some controversy with some of the listeners, some of the YouTube watchers, that say they don't like hearing Annie's laughter in the back.
How dare they?
But 99% say they like it. They want to give her the freedom to laugh freely and that it does not throw them off. And so, sorry, everybody. She's going to laugh when she feels she wants to laugh.
Do you like it, Heather?
I like it, but I didn't want people to think that I was like she was pushing her laughter like, I had to get
She has
the
an
laughs.
applause button?
Yeah, like I'm like a sad clown that has to get enough laughter.
Wendy
and
Williams has admitted that she did that on her radio show. She'd bring in 3 interns and then they'd stand there and then she would just try to she probably didn't tell them to laugh, but she would try to make them laugh.
Well, I did not tell her to laugh, and if she doesn't laugh, it's fine. And if she laughs a lot, it's fine.
They also hated hearing Peter, didn't they? Peter laughing?
Actually, nobody hated hearing Peter.
Oh, they didn't?
I think
Okay.
that's because women
Sexist.
are just afraid of men, too. So they don't want to piss off Peter.
Well, as a
they
person,
can be mean to a little, newbie.
We
Yes?
love it.
yes,
What were you
it's
gonna
your
say?
personal liberty, sister. As a person who also gets a lot of shit for my laugh.
Okay.
I just want to say we need to be free to laugh. We can't help it.
mean,
It's just coming out. You know what I'm saying? It's
What
America.
the world
I'm an American.
needs more is laughter.
Yeah,
I don't even know if that's a real song. Well, we have lots of stuff to go over. Are you aware that the #1 show on Netflix is Selling Sunset? I call it Barbies selling real estate playhouses. It is, and this poster is so amazing because they're all wearing pink and they're all on it. And the thing is, it's all the same type of home in LA. It's all the new modern houses. And I noticed it. I have not watched this entire season. I'm familiar with all the characters. But it is definitely just turned into more of a Real Housewives type of story. It has nothing to do with real estate anymore. It's just girls being bitchy, excluding people, having parties, wearing cute outfits, and teetering on heels. And your thoughts?
Well, I did notice that the houses were all the same, and that really started to bug because you kind of want just a variation. I'm like, is this all the same house here? I'm losing track of this wood everywhere or whatever. But
modern, high ceilings,
Yes.
lots of windows
Oh my
onto the
gosh.
valley of the
Yes.
Hollywood. A bachelor paradise.
I love
There's a
this.
fireplace.
Ugh.
Wait a minute. Sit down for a second. Sit right here. Are you on Raya? I am. Literally the same thing every time.
I have an empanada company. Where are these empanadas that M has been selling? And what about and the guy had a mezcal company.
I feel like
Yes.
I am shook to the core.
Okay.
That you're saying this is #1 on Netflix.
Yes.
I find that it's more because I kept having to tell Julie, who was very upset by it. I don't know if she was triggered. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't like Housewives, and she was upset because for some reason the Housewives, it's so much more Vegas sexy than the Housewives. There's just something about the way they dress.
It's a head flick away from, and I don't know what other word to say, from watching porn.
I would like to know how many of these girls, or which one, does not have a prescription to Adderall because they are
so skinny,
very thin,
Wow.
very very
They're
thin,
so thin.
and
Yeah, they
the
are.
outfits. I mean, my God, I feel
There's,
like an
some-
enormous giant watching this show.
Oh,
And
when the girl slowly
Giant.
walked in the thong into the pool, and she was just this long, thin. I was like, oh my God.
Yes.
And at one point, they're walking down the street, and someone's in a pillbox hat. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the? Like
Yes.
the craziest
but
outfit.
that's what I think is adding to the excitement of the show, because it's like everything's just exploded like 12 times over. They've gotten skinnier, the outfits have gotten tinier, gotten more ridiculous, and then this drama of like not liking each other, not inviting Christine to Heather Ray's wedding, and all, not wedding, but like the bridal showers and stuff like that. That's what I'm kind of watching right now. And
maybe if it was more like if there was one Patsy on it, like from I've been in an absolutely fabulous K-hole. Have you watched that show?
No.
Oh, it's a British sitcom from the 90s into the 2000s. It's incredible. It's amazing. Everybody should watch it.
What's
it's
it
called
called?
Absolutely Fabulous.
Oh, no.
Yeah, of course.
I thought you just said Patsy and the Crip Hole. I was like, no, of course.
Patsy and the Crip Hole.
Absolutely Fabulous is the best show ever.
Ever.
Especially
So-
from the like 20 years ago versions.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. But it almost, if they just went a little further, they could be like more like Patsy, and they would be fashion, they'd be crazy, but they would be at least be doing drugs and smoking and drunk.
Yeah,
and
they don't
falling
have
over.
one drunk.
They don't have one
it's messy.
Like, you're not messy at all.
Oh, there's no mess.
Yeah.
You know what I
get it.
mean?
My favorite scene from Absolutely Fabulous is that the one girl's daughter was getting married, and she was like the opposite of her mother. Like, she was a good girl. She was like a down-to-earth person.
Sappy.
And the day before the wedding, the two of them walked in while she was sleeping and tried to wax her mustache.
I mean,
good.
it's never
so good.
ending.
Yeah.
They're doing like bumps of drugs
Oh.
and then doing each other's Botox, and then
Yeah.
they paralyze each other, and
Yes.
it never stops. It's so good.
But that is a comedic sketch,
Yeah.
a sitcom. And like, this is just, look, I still, it's just like lay down, just like watch it.
Yeah.
It's the one thing that, if you are down on LA and you live here and you think it's disgusting and dirty and depressing, you can watch this. And from the hills of Hollywood, the city looks absolutely stunning.
Yeah. That's
stunning. And it reminds you of why you're paying these taxes and why you're here. It's just
That's true.
watching this show. And but there's a couple things going on.
I
with
do just
the
want to
girls.
say,
Yeah.
I feel like the issue, like Julie said, one, there's no one messy, there's no foil, there's no like random like fluffy one who comes in and is like, hey guys, like Dina, remember from, not that she's that fluffy, but
From
you
New
know,
Jersey.
from.
But
no,
in this
or-
scenario,
but-
if I walked in there, I'd stomp on one and would kill it.
Yeah.
You need
But
one.
I think it's more
Yeah.
like Laguna Beach. Or
Well,
the
yeah.
hills.
Well, it's the same
that's
producer,
the energy.
too.
Oh, so and you can
Yes,
tell.
yeah.
So they sit down and then they get a text and it's like, ask her about Heather Ray or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
And so then they ask awkwardly. And so we're just so used to like more of a Bravo. They do it so well.
Right. Well,
So
this is
well.
very, very scripted and fake. Well,
Very
first, I just
Yeah.
want to say before I forget, the second most popular show right now on Netflix is what's his name? William Gacy. Gacy.
The clown killer?
The clown killer. He was a man who
William H. Casey.
William H.
Wait. William H.
He's
Casey's
the one
an
who
actor.
he's the one who didn't go to jail for doing
Gacy.
the thing.
No,
John
no.
Wayne?
Oh, John Wayne Gacy.
John Wayne Gacy was a closeted gay man who was married and was gay, and he would take boys, and back then there was no like way to track your son or anything. Anyway, he was a serial killer of young men. He tortured them, he raped them, and then he'd shove their bodies. This also has to do with real estate in his crawl hole. He had 26 bodies under his house that the cops eventually found.
How did that not smell to high heaven?
It did. That's how they found out.
the
A
wife
cop,
didn't-
like he was because such a narcissist and be so confident that like no one had caught him that he saw the cops were following. And at one point, he said to the cops, "Oh yeah, come by my house." And the cop came in right away and could smell. I mean, I don't know what a rotting body smells like because I'm not a cop, but I assume they can smell. And so anyway,
Did
two
he
shows that have to-
dress like a clown?
Yeah, he's the clown.
At one time he wasn't, but that's not how he lured anybody.
Oh, okay.
At one time he was just a clown who would like go to hospitals and stuff. And so, because I thought that, I was like, oh, isn't that the one that would like go to parties as a clown and like in my mind kidnap kids? No, it was boys, but young men, like 16 to like 25, that he would say, oh, work at my construction company and you'll get paid a really good salary, like at the time, double minimum wage to paint a fence. And so the drifter kid or whatever would be like, all right, and then jump in this normal looking guy's car to go paint a fence. and then, end up in the crawl space. So anyway, just interesting that the number one and number two do have to do with real estate topics, two different kinds. But anyway, okay, let's get into a couple of the things that are going on with these girls right now. So Emma is pretty new to the show. She was introduced last season. She's Christine's nemesis because they were both engaged to the same guy. She mentioned on one of the episodes, I was matched with Ben Affleck on Raya.
Yeah.
He has since said, no, that's not true. She went on like Nightly Pop and said, oh my God, this was blown out of proportion by the media. But she did say that he did. She's not denying that they matched up, but she said it was in 2019, so it was before he and J-Lo reconnected. But he said they never matched up before. Look, we know these guys are on these sites.
He asked her to get coffee. There's no way she said
what's
that.
the problem?
She said, he was like, let's get coffee. And she just like politely declined. She even showed the other girl,
Right, when they
Trishelle
sat
or whatever her
in there
name
when
is.
they were looking through the bachelor's house that someone was going to sell.
No, this girl's going to buy. Emma's going to buy for her parents.
I mean, I believe
right.
it. Look who Ben Affleck was dating. He was dating
believe
like
it 1,000.
Really young girls, nannies, and young models, and young actresses. And he was with the one girl that was in that awful movie that I talked about, Deep Water, that was so bad. He was just in a movie that I was so excited for. It was the worst. That was not a hit on Netflix.
Supposed to be like The Abyss, right?
No, Deep Water was he got this young wife, and he was such a loser because he's a little older than her, even though he's Ben Affleck and he was like an engineer or something, that he had to just let her screw anybody new that moved into town. So she was like, and then he would get jealous and then kill her lovers, and then she moved on to other people. So it sounded like the preview sounded like something I was so excited. I had the whole family sit down for it.
Oh, no.
And I was like, oh my God. And it was just one of those movies that was just really you're like, this movie sucks. It just is a shitty movie. But anyway, kind of funny though that her show is number one and his was not. Anyway.
Yeah, and I believe it 1,000%. Plus, she also showed Chrishell another guy who messaged her, and I was just like, who was that? I'm like, was it like, Tori Spelling's brother?
Definitely Matthew Perry.
Okay, yeah. Someone like
Because has already been caught like messaging people and stuff.
Well, it's like, why are you on these sites if you don't want to get... They're not private if you're going to message someone back and forth on a dating site or app, I should say.
It's a thing for celebrities.
Yeah,
right.
And you're on it. So what are you pretending like you're not on it for? I don't get it.
Yeah. Okay, then also there's rumors that Chrishell, Julie, I hate to always have like a lesbian topic for you, but there is this girl, she's a singer in Australia. What is her name?
What are they doing here? Producing her next single? Like, I don't understand what they would have.
People have recognized that they're friends, that they like each other's stuff, that they do a little... Her name's G-Flip
Hey
from
guys,
Australia.
it's me, G-Flip. How are you? Here I am with my new friend Trishelle. We're going to just look at songs and stuff and have some fun times.
Julie calls her Trishelle because she can't
What's
stop.
her name?
Chrishell.
Chrishell and I were just hanging out just as buds. Just friends.
I believe it. You know why? Because she's supposed to be dating one of the twin...
Right, well, they broke up.
Oh, right, because he wanted... Well, he is giving me a super butch les vibes. Both those twins are.
Oh, you think they identify more as little lesbians?
I think, yeah.
Not
think
little tiny. I call them the tiny twins.
Yeah, I think if you're going to be interested in one of the tan tiny twins, tiny tot twins, you could go les because they are they're kind of like butch leses, aren't they?
Yeah,
I mean, they're bald.
Lesy, like they're controlling.
Well, the one, okay, so she was with Jason. They since broke up, and it sounds like from everything I've seen that it was really kind of him breaking up with her. It came down to he is like, I don't want kids, and the other brother, Brett, his girlfriend's seen in a few of the seasons, and she's kind of like this, again, a thin, pretty girl, but like very tatted up. But you don't really see her.
Cool.
She must not be in real estate. But she's not heavily featured. But she got to go to Greece with them when they were like out as a couple.
And they seem like they're in love.
Yeah,
I would like to see her.
Who, Chrishell and
no, I mean the tat.
Yeah,
and
they're like a real couple. And I do think Jason and Chrishell were. I just don't believe that it was fake. It just didn't last forever. And then,
well, she was gold digging for the child. Like, I think she was like, I have to get this child.
Well, I think...
And he was not
I
having
think when
it.
you're with someone at that age and it's just like, we're going down that route and they are defiant and saying, I don't want to have a kid, and that's something that you're not negotiable on, like...
Yeah.
So, I think she just, like, moved, but it sounded like he kind of broke up with her. But people think this because she also stated, or she did a story or something, like going to Australia for the first time with, like, a koala bear.
So she went to visit G-Trip.
Or it's happening.
G-Flip.
It's happening.
G-Flip's new single is called Gay for Me.
Yeah.
Oh.
I love that song, guys.
Turn gay for me, guys.
Gay for me. I'm not gay for you. I'm gay for me.
No,
I love that
they
song.
turn gay for her. She's not being gay for herself.
Oh.
She's saying, you're gay for me,
Oh, gross.
baby.
G-Flip, cut the shit.
This will make Julie
Just
upset.
stop it. I can't
Anyway,
stand that.
we don't know
I like it.
what it is, but they clearly know each other and are friendly. How friendly?
I'm upset that she gets to go to and hold a koala. We went to Australia the week that Tom and Rita showed up with COVID
Yes.
was the day we left.
Yes.
We
Okay.
basically took COVID to Australia, dropped it off, and came home. We didn't get to touch a koala.
They wouldn't even let us, and we were at the thing with the koalas, and they were
Because
like,
of COVID?
no, because
No.
they said you can't not allow. It's against the
Because
law.
you're gay. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yes, that they said.
They didn't want you. They were
can't.
afraid that you were going to turn a koala gay.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Just so homophobic there.
And
Yeah.
anti-Semites.
Yeah, and they were like, and we can't. Jews definitely don't touch koalas. So it was like,
Apparently, we don't know G-Flip. She has all the connections to hold koalas.
they literally told us it was against the law in Australia to touch a koala.
Oh, well, then I believe that that's true. Why are you acting like it's about you?
Because Trishelle got to touch the koala.
No, she hasn't gotten there yet. She just no, she did like just a cartoon of a koala.
Oh, okay.
She
All
wasn't
right.
holding
we
an
thought she
actual
was holding
koala.
one.
No,
Okay.
like
Okay,
just
fine.
like I'm excited to go. Like give me your Rex for when I go to.
Good for her. She's lucky that she gets to go there.
Oh,
'cause
I love
Australia's
this for
amazing.
her.
But if
if
there is
Yeah.
a photo of her holding a koala, get ready for people to freak out. Speaking of COVID, so Christine, who is the villainess and probably the most famous one, she of the show. They had an actual reunion, just like the Housewives, where they all dressed up and went, and which I think is a great idea. Why wouldn't you do this? And because it is so like Housewivesy and not really $1 Million Listing. Anyway, she unfortunately could not come. Her rep said she has COVID. Now another girl tested positive for COVID, and she did it on Zoom. So they're like, well, why didn't she offer to do it on Zoom? Well, does she not want to do it because they're all hate her and everything, and she comes off kind of awful? But then she was seen in doing a photo shoot with cameramen around, laying on 2 lounge chairs next to our girl, Melissa Gorga. I don't know what it was for, but so, what's the deal? Now, here's the thing. Have you guys felt any weird, like a little bit of sadness remembering this time like 2 years ago when you didn't have to do anything but drink wine at 3 o'clock? Like, we're never, ever going to have that time back. Not that I want it back. Relax, everybody.
Oh,
but
you
there
mean in
was
2020?
The 2020, like the first 6 weeks, where it was like we thought it was going to end soon, but we were kind of enjoying just that time. And like, we're doing like that. And now the new thing is too, is like, at least you could say, I have COVID. I have to, even with this, some of the comments were like, well, the CDC says now you don't have to quarantine for 10 days after testing positive. You don't, or it's only 5 days, or it's only 3. I don't know what, it changes every day. So it's like people now that, are going to have to go back to saying I have the stomach flu.
Yeah.
They can't say they have COVID. And I was like, and even
Not
with
gonna
the
work.
stomach flu, I'm like, well, I'm not going to catch it. Like, why can't I still come over?
So, and I love that she's on the lounge chair with Melissa Gorga.
Yeah.
So she came back from having a baby, right?
Yes.
I do feel kind of bad that because it's not easy to come back, have a baby. I mean, she could be in some kind of, I was kind of for her. I was kind of into it. I don't believe that storyline that she offered someone $5,000. She said it wasn't
What
true.
is that storyline?
So the other one we just saw, Emma.
Yeah.
The thin one with the
Yeah.
Ben Affleck. God, that body.
The thin one, they're all thin.
Oh, she
But she's probably
literally
the
gets into a
thinnest.
bikini and goes into the water, and I was like, is that air and wind getting into it? Was so beautiful.
Yeah.
She just looked like this long, tall ballerina. So,
Yeah.
she said they're like nemesises, and she said that Emma said that this girl, Christine, offered a client $5,000 to leave Emma and go with her. And then all the tiny twins got upset. The whole, firm got all upset. And she was on social media from the get being like, it's not true. It's a lie. And that's why she doesn't want to show up to anything because she feels ambushed. And she's like, I didn't do that. So unless maybe they had receipts, which they would clearly bring out whether she was there or not, they would need to bring out the receipts of the $5,000 offer.
Well, that's such a weird thing because, first of all, I've been in real estate, and there is a weird thing about stealing clients. If you don't have a contract with the listing, and you're just showing somebody, it's if you show them the house they buy, that's it. That is who gets the commission. Okay, and so, there'd be times like I remember this one time, this friend of mine walked into my listing with her broker, and I was like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you, first of all, working with this other woman? And I feel like sometimes people just don't understand the loyalty thing. They're like, oh, you'd like to show me a house? Great. They don't get that, unless you buy through me, this whole day was a waste of my life. Okay. So I called her and I was like, well, do you want to, what are you doing? Oh, I just met this woman, whatever. And I was like, okay, well, let me know if you, want to work with me going forward, because I've showed you stuff before, right? So I was kind of the broker called me and she was like, how dare you? You called my client. And I'm like, I know, but I've known her for a really long time. So it's very a shady kind of a thing, but I've never heard of anyone offering real dollars.
We saw some, and I don't know if it was $1 Million Listing or what, but we saw some show where it was a thing of there's a thing in LA, and I don't know if it's everywhere else, but there's a thing in LA where you have to be very, very careful about stealing it's an unwritten rule. You don't steal.
No, it's bad because it's bad reputation. Yeah.
Yeah.
And definitely, I was kind of early in the business, and so then I was like, you know what, you're right. I'll never do that again because I wouldn't like it if someone did it to me. And the other part of it is that, there's been other times where people will say, no, you're in great hands. Stick with that person. Because it's just not worth it to then have a beef with this other realtor for the rest of your life. I found this PR company sent this to me about which selling sunset agent actually makes the most on the show.
That's good.
And it was Christine is number one.
Oh.
And let me see who's number
So she wouldn't need to do this thing with the $5,000.
No, it doesn't make any sense. I think Chriselle is up there.
Really?
Towards the bottom is Davina. Mary's in the middle based on their listings that they actually had in their commissions. But I don't know how accurate this really is, but it kind of makes sense.
She seemed like she got that huge one, the Israeli that moved to Miami.
No, she didn't. She doesn't do that. But they still all do really well.
So they all are real estate. They're real.
They are all real estate. There's just kind of a question of the houses that we see, are them just going to a showing, or is it they're really realistic? Because I think, it has aesthetically, it has to be that way, and the people have to be okay with it being shown. And I think it's just easier for a shooting schedule. Let's find a bunch of pretty houses, and then you just meet me there in your platforms, and we teeter around and talk about how you weren't invited to the baby shower.
Yeah, and pretend you're going to buy this for someone, or your friend from high school is in tech now, and he might buy this, but he's not going to.
Heather Ray Young is who married the flipping out guy.
Right?
Not flipping out. What if flip or flop? Tarek. And I follow her, and she posts so much about her wedding, her love. I can't believe these long, beyond, right? So she threw up a reel the other day of never be seen footage of her wedding again. But it was a one little thing of her, Tarek being like, guys who know me know that I like nice things. And damn! And then it's her smiling. And anyway, it's cute. I'm happy they're happy, okay? But I was and she goes, 6 months of being a wifey. And I was like, oh my God. And all I thought about is what's going to happen when we're at 3/4 of a year? We're going to have to see another seen footage reel.
7.5 months of being a wifey.
Yeah, right. And I'm just oh my
wedding.
God. I've been on this road for 22 years. Shut the fuck up. So anyway, I wrote a comment.
Okay.
And I wrote, can't wait for the wedding reel celebration of 3/4 of a year anniversary. Congrats. Well, look, I still follow her. She's got the #1 show on Netflix. She can show her wedding dress as much as she freaking wants.
Did she reply or just Ziza Neo? Who said
She
I
didn't
love you?
reply, but I did get, a handful of likes. Whatever.
Well, I have to say that wedding, and I mean, I don't know what you guys thought, but I was really not here.
Did they show the wedding on Selling Sunset? Okay, I haven't gone to that part.
It's like is it the finale? And it's like it's during the day,
Right.
okay, and it's at the beach, right? Is it at the beach or is it like a well?
I think it is at the some sort of water
So
situation. Yeah,
it's like I really cannot describe what the guests were wearing. Like it was like a nighttime Vegas wedding, and we're talking about in Malibu, and I'm talking about everyone, Heather, to the point.
So
where
everyone
it was
had like the really short, sparkly
Yes.
lace, tight dresses,
low
cut out.
silken looking, like sateen.
Yes.
Just like it was unbelievable. I was like, this wedding I have never seen. Not one person, and thank God, not one person said, "You know what? Daytime wedding by the beach. I'm obviously going to go bohemian here."
Yeah.
Thank God, because they would have looked like a monster. Like get the Mormon out of here.
the men were all in black tuxedos, right?
Oh, solid black. He's
Yeah.
wearing solid black, Tariq or whatever.
Yeah, Tarek,
Black,
yeah.
black, everything. And it's like they're at the beach. It's during the day. It's not a nighttime wedding. Like I could imagine like Vegas slutty
Right.
tones at night. Because you're like black tie, you might just interpret it like hooker, but it wasn't black tie, and it was during the day, and it just I mean you have to just see like really look at just the crowd and just see what you think. I mean maybe you guys would like
Okay,
it.
I'm going to a beach wedding, not this weekend, but next, in Puerto Vallarta, and I did purchase a turquoise dress that's long, but it's fitted. It's better than a maxi, but it's not a black tie look. I think it could be.
You hate a maxi.
I think it could be perfect.
What material is it?
It's like a little bit of a structured material, but it's not really flowy. It's like structured, but it's not black tie. You know what I mean? It's like long and it's
Like a
put
little
together.
casual.
A little more casual than black tie, but not as casual as a maxi. Not as casual as like just going to the beach because you're on a beach vacation long dress. It's
Yeah.
it's upscale. It's like fitted. It's like,
Well, I
tight
think
waist.
upscale is fine. It's not black, and
It's not black and it's not shiny and it's not
sequence. Right,
and
I
it's
think
not
that's fine.
super high heels and the whole thing.
So, what kind of shoes are you gonna wear?
I got a Steve Madden wedge that actually has crystals across the toe. It's a very good shoe. I think everyone should go purchase it.
It's like a beach.
It's
not
a beach
but like
show. It's a
summer.
dress-up beach. It's like the perfect combination because it's
Yeah.
a wedge, but it's a little more glam.
Then that's perfect for you because anyone who knows you hate a baggy dress moment.
Yeah.
You don't want a lot of material flowing and bugging up the legs and the figure. It's perfect.
But I also didn't want to wear like a cocktail short mini dress because I'm like,
No.
I've done that look so many times, and I just want to glam it up. Well, anyway, moving on to the Kardashians. Oh, hello! I didn't see you there, but you see me because you're watching this. But have you subscribed? Have you told a friend? Have you liked it? Have you copied the link and texted it to someone you love or you just feel like being a nice person to? Please do that. It keeps us going. So if you like watching Juicy Scoop here on YouTube, subscribe, like, and share.
So good.
So are you familiar what's going on? I've got so much about the case. I had a Juicy Scooper on the ground that went to the trial.
Whoa!
And I just talked to him for an hour.
Where is
Shout
the
out
trial?
to Stephen Mango.
Shout out, Stephen.
I don't know, in LA somewhere. He's not
it's
too
like
far
in
from
Brentwood.
his house. He
Okay.
said he got in. I'm like, how did you get in? I kind of feel like I'm the only one talking about this trial. Like, I don't feel like people care that much that Blac Chyna is suing them for about $150,000. It's like
Million?
million. Sorry, 150 million. So it's 60.
I was like, they should have just paid
It's
that.
like I think it was 60 for the years that she would have been on the show. 60 million is what she calculated. Another 40 for all the endorsements that she would have gotten had the show continued. Then like another 36 for, I don't know, attorney's fee, and like another 9 for something else. It adds up to, close to $150 million. And
Is she suing like the entire like Card Jenner
she is only suing Kris, Kylie, Khloe, and Kim.
No,
she
she
is
left
not
out Kourtney.
Why?
She's not suing Kourtney. She's not suing Kendall. She's not suing Rob. And she's not suing, and this is my knowledge, and if I'm wrong, God, come at me. But I'm pretty sure. And it's not really for E or Brennan Murray either. They're witnesses, the executives from E and Brennan Murray, the production company. But no, it's because I don't think she's suing them because I think contractually they really didn't do anything wrong. The whole thing is she is saying, you, the four of you, and you used your media power and your power as the hottest show on E to sabotage my chance and my second season by writing them and emailing them, which they have some evidence, and telling them, like, kill this show. We're the bigger stars, and we won't be as cooperative if you don't do our wishes.
Which I believe they did do. At that point, you just decide whether or not she deserves the money or if it was justified. But I mean, we worked at Fashion Police. We wrote on there with Joan Rivers, and there was the Chelsea Handler rule. We do not make jokes about Chelsea Handler's age.
Okay.
It was strictly forbidden. And there was the Kardashian rule.
Well, the Kardashian rule for us on E was never mention the sex tape. Any panelist, anytime there's a Kardashian topic, we would tell the comedians, you can tell us all your jokes, but you cannot mention the sex tape. And it's just interesting because now the Hulu show, it's all about the sex tape.
Yeah.
She's talking about the sex tape. She jokes about the sex tape in the SNL monologue. Is there a second sex tape coming? Like, these are storylines, and it's just out there.
Yeah.
And, and there's rumors like, how, whatever. There's always been rumors like, how much did she really have? Was she aware of it or whatever?
Yeah.
And I feel like at this point, they're kind of setting the stage because if that ever gets revealed that it isn't the story that was originally fed to us, at this point, who gives a shit? Who gives it? It'd be like, really? Well, now you know the genius that I am. Is it going to,
Exactly.
if you like my Skims, is that going to keep you from wearing my Skim bra again? No, it's not. Like, who cares? So I think it's almost like jumping ahead of it.
Yeah.
But let
I
me
agree.
tell you the details of what's going on in this trial, okay? So Chris and Kyle and Khloe and Kim are there the whole time. They're there every day.
Ugh, where are the looks?
Okay, well, here is the drawings, the court
Okay,
drawings.
so they're in a black blazer.
They're all
moment?
wearing like suits and stuff.
Okay.
They're all looking pretty classy. According to my juicy scooper on the ground, Kim is like the most in lawyer mode. She knows when to stand up right away when the jury walks in. Like, she's really into it.
Oh, right,
know,
because she's
so
like
cute.
a lawyer now.
Loves it for
Chris
Kim.
is like a little bit not as glam as you'd think. Honestly, I think it's been a really hard time for
poor
her.
Chris.
Talking
real. I mean, this is
about
hard.
Rob and what he's gone through mentally. The whole thing is, they said, what all the girls are saying is, Blac Chyna and Rob were a horrible couple. They were toxic for each other. But on top of that, Blac Chyna put a gun to my brother's head, hit him with some pole, and while he was playing video games, put an iPhone cord around him and pulled him from the neck. She said she's a comedian. Those were all jokes.
Oh, I just
And that
didn't
those
know.
are
I didn't realize- I
hilarious
didn't realize she was
bits.
a
No,
I
comedian.
love those
and
bits.
the worst
She's
thing,
like she's a prop comic.
She's a
It's like the guy with the watermelon.
Yeah, she's Gallagher. She's just like Gallagher. She's a physical
Yeah,
prop
I mean, we
comedian.
didn't
and one of her
She's
props
Carrot
was
Top.
in one fight, yes, she did break two fancy gingerbread houses. You know how the Kardashians like those gingerbread houses, like fancy ones from like Solvang that you order. Anyway, two of those were broken. She admits to that. Her attorneys admit to that. But, so they're asking the lawyers, and the lawyer for Blac Chyna is nowhere near at the level of the Kardashian lawyer. But this lawyer's asking the girls, well, look at Blac Chyna's size and look at, Rob's size. Do you remember where he was hurt? Do you remember the bruises? Why didn't you call the police?
By the
Why
way, is
didn't
Rob
you do
there
this?
or no?
No,
Because he's still in
not.
hiding. He's still in
He's
hiding.
not there, and he's not being called. And maybe I would think maybe the Kardashians, in their attempt to, continue to protect Rob and his mental health and his, not wanting to be public, they probably said, we're not going to call him on. They're paying their attorneys to defend him. And then the Blac Chyna attorneys might not want him because having him stand up there and cry and talk about the physical abuse isn't going to make her look good. Right. Now, the bad thing that Rob did was at one time during their breakup is he did the revenge porn thing.
Terrible.
And he shared texts and some videos of like her little, it was like a skirt a photo of her. She sent him a photo of just her lifting up her skirt. It was just a naked vagina, but it was a closed-lipped vagina. Like it was like.
Was there any bush?
We never saw that because now it's covered up with like a square on the internet. But my memory is that no, it wasn't. It was just, perfectly nothing to be crossed legs and a little,
Yeah.
And but but he said mean things too on
And
it. It got taken down.
He was being really possessive.
Also, the pictures of her body.
Oh yeah, it was pictures of her body, and he, said like, imagine paying all this plastic surgery, and her, it wasn't a cool thing. That
can be considered some type of abuse.
That got taken
what I mean?
down, and then so her attorneys are now saying she suffered from PTSD from that revenge porn. Now, I think that's going to be a hard thing for the jury to believe when the girl's background, and again, I'm not saying this is my opinion, I'm saying average people that are picked for the jury with average lives, normal lives, not in Hollywood. I don't think they're going to have a lot of sympathy for that, even though that was an uncool thing to do. It was a matter of, 10 minutes that it was on the internet before it was taken down or something. That, she now makes all her money on OnlyFans. She was a stripper prior.
Right.
Like, I think she's pretty comfortable with her body and everything.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, that wasn't what she wanted. But at the same time, like, they were like, always fighting. So
I do think that's indicative of, because she said like he was going through my phone. He was being like in his own way abusive, just in terms of like crazy about what she was doing, and he was very paranoid. And so I think that's also like the way he was, whether it was verbal or whatever, he was so furious and he was so insecure the whole time they were together, probably because she was completely verbally abusive too. But
well, and the girls testify, they said that, they didn't believe that, and their emails and stuff prove that they were like, she's not into our brother. Like, she only comes around when we're filming. She says these mean things. They're not in love. And the show was called Rob and Chyna in Love. So the biggest thing is she said the show, I got a deal memo saying the show was greenlit and they followed me to Vegas. And I thought that was footage for season 2. And then they said, no, we're not going forward with season 2. The executive said, we always follow people. We always follow them, just like we follow the Kardashians throughout the seasons. It was an open-ended thing. We filmed all 12 months of the year for important events because we didn't want to miss something that might happen. So we were doing that, but that didn't mean that it was for sure going to go. And then when we realized like they're not in love and this is toxic, we're not going to go any further. But then her thing is like, but I think it's because you guys offered to do another show with Kylie. You said Kylie's like, I'll film more. I'll do another show with Kylie. And Kim said this is a toxic environment for all of us, and we don't want to film. Like, we don't want her to come back on because she's getting $25,000 to appear on Keeping Up, and she's getting $92,000 per episode of Rob and Chyna. And the other thing, a reality star without the connection of the Kardashians would have never been making that much. You're telling me the two Malikas get $25,000 an episode?
No.
There's no way they did.
And then 90? I am shocked.
$92,000 an app.
Wow.
I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, but at that time, there was that whole thing with Blac Chyna and Tyga and Kylie.
Right.
So that was prior to like the baby and Travis Scott. That was like during the Tyga kind of, because she has a baby with Tyga, right?
So Tyga has told Chris and the family and Kylie that he has a scar on his arm from an incident with Chyna when they were together where she took a knife and cut him. And so they're like, look, we don't know if this is true, but on the stand, they're like, we were told this. So we had knowledge that she has been physically abusive with partners in the past. So that made us really nervous for our brother. I think I think this is a lot for a regular person who has never done entertainment deals, that don't understand how shows get picked up, get canceled, how executives leave, come, how someone can. The thing is that this is like muddy. It's not like she was an engineer working at a factory and she was doing a really, really good job, and she married the son-in-law of the company, and then they fired her when they had a fight. and she never got that engineering job back. I mean, there's like so many different factors
Yeah.
of like, they're like, the show was called Rob and Chyna. We didn't think Chyna could do the show by herself. They were toxic. That's not our family-friendly brand. Like, definitely all the executives are, none of them are saying, yes, we were influenced by the Kardashians. None of them are saying that.
And none of them apparently are getting sued because
Right.
they know they have every right to cancel it.
Right.
But she's suing the family for basically engineering
It's
the
like
canceling
it's
of the show.
basically a defamation, like a conspiracy to like, yeah.
And she wants the money that she would have made on the show.
Yeah.
You know, which she should probably get some of it, but at the end of the day, they clearly, it's no accident that they then broke up immediately once.
Well, they were already broken up. She already had a restraining order against him before they said, hey, we're not going to go with the second season.
Oh, yeah.
So you file a restraining order against
That's why the
Rob
executives aren't getting
Rob
sued.
and Chyna and Love. Like, I mean, come on. So I just think that the jury is just going to be like, they're gonna relate more to a family that was focused on protecting their brother's physical well-being and mental well-being in a toxic relationship, and you know, and so like them voicing their opinions is not against the law, like, you know.
Yeah. I heard, though, that Kris Jenner, now poor Kris, no wonder she looks like shit up there because she's so stressed out.
Well, I didn't say she looked like shit.
Well,
I just said
you
she
know what I
wasn't
mean.
as glam as
She
normal.
must be so incredibly stressed out. She's pulled in 1,000 directions. Kylie's like, I have like literally 2 kids and don't even want to be talking about Tyga. But I heard that they asked her, like, do you recall, or did Kylie tell you that she was violent or she threatened her life, Blac Chyna? And that Kris said, I don't remember. And then I felt so bad for Kris because I'm like, you know, you do remember. And now you're, you know, caught between a rock and a hard place. Like, you just don't want to.
Well, there were texts that Kylie got from Blac Chyna that's like, get ready to die today, bitch. That's what she was waking up to.
Yeah.
While they were living in a house that Kylie owned.
I mean,
And then, but you know, now they also the Kardashians has trademarked Dream Kardashian's name. All the kids' names are trademarked. And so they put under like toys, dolls, this and that, all this stuff. So it's trademarked. And they can do that. They don't need her,
No.
you know, because Rob is the dad. And so, but
did Rob even want that, though?
But imagine if Chyna had become Chyna Kardashian. She could have trademarked her own name.
Yeah.
And had Chyna Kardashian dildos, Chyna Kardashian, whatever. And like, so, you know, but they were for the relationship when it happened. They were like, that's why they were happy to have the show. That's why they had her on the show. They were thinking like this would be good. And then when it wasn't, it was like, oh my God, you know, this is just a nightmare.
And I feel like the lawyers need to prove. I think the burden of proof is: did they want to cancel it because they thought they were fearful for their brother's life, or did they want to cancel it because it was damaging to their own brand? And I think it was probably both. But I mean, she could still go murder him regardless of if the show's there or not.
I just think a jury's going to be like, look, she wouldn't have had the show to begin with.
And that's absolutely
and
true.
the show doesn't make sense if they're not together. And the show was one season. It wasn't Seinfeld.
Yeah.
You know?
and then they weren't together anymore.
And
so
it
that's
reminds me, remember when the Mark Cherry got sued by Nicolette Sheridan? This is some juicy
Oh,
scoop
yeah.
history from Desperate Housewives. I looked it up because I was like, it never did go to trial. So the story was Nicolette Sheridan, who is one of the main women in a scripted show called Desperate Housewives, which is really where Doug Ellen, I believe his name is, who created Real Housewives of Orange County, got the idea.
Right.
That's why they're holding oranges, because originally the women were holding apples, right? Or holding...
Yeah, because it's like the Garden of Eden. They were like snakes in the Garden of Eden.
Yeah, Desperate
Meanwhile,
Housewives.
Annie's like, what's that?
Yeah.
She's like, I think my mom watched that. I mean, to say like it has to be a scripted show. Desperate
was a
Housewives
scripted-
seems like it was like just yesterday,
Yes.
but now
Yeah.
Terry Hatcher's living in a van down by the river, like literally. I mean, literally. She was living next door to George Clooney. I was hiking by their house every day, and now she's living in a
like a silver liner or whatever.
Yeah,
Wait, where did you
Winnebago?
hear that?
She was living in an Airstream down by the
Airstream.
beach, like doing
Okay.
kind of like a show or interviews or something out of this Airstream. And I love Terry Hatcher, but like it's been a long time since the show, but it feels like it was yesterday to me. That's
Well,
Housewives.
with Nicolette Sheridan, her character got killed off. Okay, and she said, I think Nicolette Sheridan said, I think it's because I had this incident with Mark Cherry, the writer and producer of the show, where he like hit me on the head or something. And because of that, and because I complained or whatever, you then killed me off the show. So she went and sued, and it went on forever. In the end, the judge said, I'm killing this lawsuit because there's no evidence that Nicolette Sheridan brought that she had told about the incident before it was written that she was being killed off.
Oh, so it was just like she might have just created this incident that never happened.
The incident may have happened too, but if it was already in the works that her character was going to die, which happens on shows like this, then you can't prove that that's why they killed you off. Like that was already happening, and like regardless of, anyway, in the end, it really kind of screwed her over. I mean, it definitely hurt her career in the sense that people then now she's problematic, so they're not out to hire her while she has this ongoing case going on. So it's like,
and she didn't sleep with him. Was that not the deal?
Mark Cherry?
Yeah,
He's gay.
Oh, okay.
But for Blac Chyna, like this might boost her OnlyFans sales. Like people really haven't. She's kind of out of the limelight. I mean, one of the reasons I don't think that many people are talking about this trial, except for me, is because I don't think a lot of people know who Blac Chyna is or cares.
Yeah.
Which is also going to hurt her case in the end, because I just think the same thing. People are going to be like, oh, look, I identify with a family who you wouldn't be here in the first place if it wasn't for them, and you're awful, and they were protecting their brother. So
and there
who
is
cares?
a jury there, right?
There's a full jury.
Okay. Well, a lot of people, I mean, that's also
And they
what
don't
she's
look-
saying is that I've
and
lost all this money since then because people did know who I was, and then my wigs and my whole thing, and now nobody knows who I am. I'm completely like having to whatever.
She does OnlyFans.
Yeah, do porn.
She makes a lot of money doing it.
Well, I just think there is a good chance too that the jury, at least half, for wrong or right, don't like the Kardashians, because that's just a common denominator.
But
with
what
a lot
I
of
said
people.
is, even if they don't like the Kardashians, then they're really gonna not like Blac Chyna, because she's just an extension of that, like, type of thing.
Yeah.
But
I can
anyway,
see. That's a good point.
I predict either she gets no money, or she gets a very small, like $1 million. That's it. Like for like a couple seasons of what she might have made, and like that's it. But my biggest prediction is she will not win a dime.
If if they give her $1 million, she should take it and put it in her pocket and smile and say thank you and goodbye.
Because she could have made $1 million on a season of the show,
Right.
and
that's
the
fine.
season that they killed.
But $150 million.
So take no.
But you've been trying to jock this family for however many years, and it's
Yeah.
just like it's time to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Like you've been trying it.
I also was gonna
They've
say,
been trying
I also
it.
think,
Let's just stop. Like y'all have been doing this dance for many, many years, and you've been like doing.
I say she should get $1 million though.
think
They'll
$1
all go to
million's
her
fair.
lawyers anyway.
I also
that's
think
true.
this whole experience is probably besides everything, very traumatic for Chris. Because when I was thinking about it, I'm like, the last time she was showing up at court every day was during the OJ trial.
Oh God, good one.
You know what I mean? Like, it's going to court is not fun. It's like very stressful. Some people handle it better than others, but the girls do have some fun. Because yesterday we noticed that Chris had tweeted, "Kim is just so smart. Everything I know, so I learned from her. Oh, everything I know, I learned from her." And then also Chris wrote again, minutes later, "I love my daughter Kim the most. She's just the cutest and the sweetest."
Chris, stop drinking
the most-
like
obviously
cold
Kim,
brews.
No, Kim took her phone.
Okay.
I'm saying Kim took
Yeah.
her phone. So I'm like, there are light moments
Yeah.
at the courthouse that
Yeah.
that the girls are having some
Yeah,
fun.
like she's like, Kim is just the cutest and sweetest. Mom, you got to call. I also changed my thing to Lover of Christ at the last minute. Have you watched this show on Hulu? Is it good? We haven't watched it yet.
I just watched the first one, and I mean, I like that type of stuff, but it's a lot of drones. You get a little dizzy in the beginning. It's just going from like the drone takes you from one Calabasas house to one Hidden House to the next, and it's just like, but it's fun.
Watching them do
Speaking
acting.
of which, okay, a Kardashian light over here, Megan Fox. Megan Fox, as you know, is dating Machine Gun Kelly. And she just did this videoed interview on Glamour YouTubes. And I watched it so that you don't have to, because it's
Thank
19
you.
minutes.
Please, thank you.
And she answered all the questions. She's got these the long nails,
Yeah.
And she said, yes, that she and Machine Gun Kelly, she doesn't know why she did the movie Midnight in the Switchgrass. She just did it, and he didn't know why he accepted it. But she's like, who's playing this part? There's one scene, and they said, oh, it's Machine Gun Kelly. And she was like, wow, I'm in trouble because his look is a look I've been manifesting since I was 4 of my ideal man. And I'm 4
Wow, she's
years
an edgy 4-year-old.
and I'm 4 years older than Machine Gun Kelly. So who knows what he would have looked like had I not manifested
Oh, so she
my
created
twin
his whole
flame.
look.
Yeah. So she believes that they're twin flames, much like Tom and Pammy. Pam and Tommy, I mean.
Tom and Pammy. Tom and Pammy.
And
I like that.
Courtney and Kurt. I mean, these are great couples.
they are.
One's dead, and the other two have been
Did
divorced
she
for
give
20
those
years.
examples?
Yep.
Oh.
And I'm like,
Kourtney
why?
And,
what
the
about
new Kourtney?
Yeah. What about Sid and Nancy? Yeah.
Sid and Nancy.
She said. She did talk about Travis and
Right.
Kourtney, and she goes, I mean, between us, we have 900 kids, and we don't go on a lot of double dates. But you can't even talk to anybody because they're so twin flamey connected, And then she said, what? Then they decided that she and Machine Gun Kelly, they need to have some spirituality in their life. They do practice drinking each other's blood. That is a ritual that they do. And it's not like we're drinking goblets of blood. It's just little droplets. One drop. One drop of blood. Little droplets. I just do a few drops, but there's times when Machine Gun Kelly is just like taking a broken piece of glass and just slashed his chest open and was like, drink my soul. And it happens. She laughs. She's like, it happens. It happens a lot. And so we went to
Oh my God.
Costa Rica.
Oh my God.
We go to Costa Rica. And the comments on this are like, okay, so we can't talk about COVID on social media and stuff, but like people can talk about drinking blood. All right.
I mean, I need to go read every comment. I need to sit down with a glass
the
of
comments
wine.
are very positive. They're like, I
they
love
are?
her voice. She's so amazing. And so we went to Costa Rica and met with shamans. What do you, not shamans?
Shamans.
Yeah,
Shamans.
a shaman.
We met with shamans.
So that's what you do in Costa Rica.
And then we should a lot near the shaman. We went to shamans and we did the ayahuasca. What is it? Ayahuasca.
Oh, God.
And
in addition to getting many, many kilos of other things in
and
Costa
then
Rica.
you're supposed to do just one glass of it, but they said that he had so many dark demons and dark figures around him that he had to have 3 glasses of it.
Oh my
And
God.
everybody was like, yeah, you do. Machine Gun Kelly, you cutie. And so
He definitely just cut his chest open that night.
Wow.
He
then the
probably
next
shit in her
question was
mouth.
like, how
He
do you
probably did.
balance motherhood?
Yeah, I
And-
was going to ask you. Is she caring for her children?
Well, she unfortunately travels so much and she doesn't have them. She only has them half the time. But she cries for her children a lot and she cries on every new moon.
Okay.
But only on the new moon does she get in the bathtub and
Because
cry
that's
about her
when
kids.
her
These
period
are
is
kids.
the heaviest. And then Machine Gun comes in with a homemade tampon he made from his nipples. And he makes a nipple canoe. And he goes, I'm ready for your period. And I'm like, new moon. And then it comes out. And then he drinks it.
Exactly.
And then we mix it up.
And
we
even
both
when-
drink it.
And even if that relationship is toxic, it's a beautiful toxicity.
Yeah.
I don't know why toxicity
Toxicity.
has to be a negative word.
And Brian
doesn't.
Austin Green is there with his partner from Dancing with the Stars, apparently caring for the children who now are like, new mommy, daddy, let's drink blood and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay. And they just want to practice their dances.
It's a ritual of drinking blood. It's just something we do because we're twin flames. And so it's like sharing each other's DNA and body parts and just really connecting. So, yeah, every few days I'm just like, you know what? We're fighting and let's cut each other open.
Once a week we do a toenail exchange, which I love because sometimes it's like rugged.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like raw because you'll scratch yourself. And then
With your toenails?
With his toenails. And then I'll just chew them. And then when I spit them out, he grabs them in the air. And it's just amazing. If you have it's a toenail
He's
ritual.
A beautiful soul, a beautiful boy.
Good for them.
beautiful
I think
boy.
she's Angelina Jolie light. I think that has always been her her idol. She's been waiting to do the vials of blood and, like hang men on walls and take lovers and stuff and put them in a crucifix. And it's like, I think that's her ultimate idol.
Do you think they will get married? They're engaged. Do you think they'll actually get married?
I think it depends on how much he's worth and how much she's worth. I mean, I hate to be so like mercenary like that, but I do think it will come down to like their business managers being like, ha ha ha, that's cute about the blood, but bitch, like, let's get serious.
Oh, well, I am convinced a lot of couples do the wedding and the PR and everything and don't actually get married.
Oh, then I think they will. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Because this has become like a thirst trap for the ages.
Yes, and like they just when you think like we hadn't talked about it in a while, she does this interview. And she says these weird things, and that she's like, Juicy Scoop hasn't spoken about me in a while. I have to.
She was good in that one movie, Jennifer's Body.
Yeah, I love that.
That was like so long ago. That was like before her nose job, wasn't it?
I know, but she was still good in
not
it.
pre-nose job. And
Her
also, it was
nose
like
job
Diablo
is so
Cody.
good.
Oh my God, all of the work sits perfectly.
Now, this was kind of interesting. People were discussing and tweeting, and then Sun wrote an article about it. That Kourtney Kardashian fans think Travis is controlling as they see red flags.
What red flags would you see in that guy at all?
He's nothing but he's an American
like
flag.
just him
great.
constantly grabbing her and like insisting that she sit on the laps and making every decision. What kind of dessert do we want? And Chris says, isn't it so great? They're so connected. To me personally, I do think it's weird, especially being like a mom. It feels like it does feel like they're two teenagers. Like, I don't know. How could you be so into someone? Like, not that she's ignoring her kids, but it is bizarre. And
he's always the one who started sticking the tongue down the throat. He was the one who would start doing that. Like, they'd be doing their posing, and then he would like jam the tongue in. So he definitely started that.
I think because she did not have a good relationship with Scott. But the first episode of Keeping Up, I happened to be there, and it was a party to celebrate Chris and, at the time, Bruce's wedding anniversary. It's like 16 years or something. And that was the first time I met Scott. And I joked to her, and I'm like, who's this guy who's got his hand up your vagina? Like, she was super touchy with him. So it could be something that in the newness of relationships, she is super affectionate.
Yeah.
So it's like, some people are more PDA with every partner, and then you meet someone and they're both just like that. I mean, it'll be interesting to see where they are in like 4 years.
Did you see that little girl who actually I think might have been good friends with Kourtney from TikTok? What's that mean? TikTok?
Oh, yes. The singer, Addison Rae.
She was doing the whole tongue business at the
yes.
And I was like, oh, Kourtney, slow clap for starting a trend, bitch. Like, honestly,
right? Yeah, yeah.
And I feel like there's going to be a lot of trials now too. I really do. I feel like this unintended publicity.
Yes.
I'm like, we're going to get judge fatigue. Like, we're going to be like, how we have to weigh in on all these things.
Yes.
But I do think people are
Speaking
like
of the trials. We're going to get right into
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
And what? Now these ladies are going to be prancing around with fully tattooed.
Right.
Everyone's got some
But
tattooed
yeah,
monster
the whole thing is it kind of controlling? It's a little 50 Shades of Grayish the way they talk, and
I think she likes it.
It's super sexual, but I think she likes it too. I think she loves a guy being that into her because for so long she was with Scott for a long time, and she even said we've been broken up for 7 years, but I don't think she's ever had this kind of attention. So
I think she likes an alpha male, and he has to do that because what else is he really offering us? You know what I mean? He's really got to come through with like a strong, dominant, like alpha male thing, because otherwise you're just kind of like, I mean, I don't dislike his tattoos. I just don't think he's that cute facially.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I mean, it's like Lord Disick. Obviously he grew on everyone with his abusive self. I mean, he was like didn't he break the shower door?
Oh, yeah.
And then he went naked into the hot tub, and he was constantly like alphaing into such scenarios that were kind of like scary. So I think that's just kind of like she's the oldest kid. And I think she might want a strong, dominant scenario, and not for long, because ultimately no woman really wants that.
But there's something hot about it. Like even like Pete Davidson writing "My Girl's a Lawyer." Kim loved that. My girl, you're my girl.
Yeah,
like it's a little bit like there is that weird like possessive, and it's like,
And
okay.
he's toppy and controlling too, Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
That's why they say big dick energy. That's what it is, because he comes in and he did it to Kate Beckinsale. He did it to Ariana Grande. Now he's doing it to Kim. It's like, but eventually it will run its course. But that's what he does. He comes in and he's like not afraid, and he has like all this like overconfidence, if you ask me.
Right.
But yeah, they end up like getting off on it for a bit.
Right. Okay, speaking of this trial, so the latest of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard is an attorney. So he talked about Paul Bennett, who is the actor married to Jennifer Bettany. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I don't even know his name because I don't watch any. He's like a Marvel guy, right? I don't know. Anyway, at one time they were friends. They're not friends anymore, and so he was brought up.
They're not friends anymore?
Well, he said, the Paul guy said, we don't really talk anymore.
Oh.
So I think he kind of was like, God, I just want to stay out of this
distancing
thing.
himself.
Yeah, I want to stay. But they did like go to the island together and went with his actress wife, Jennifer Connelly, and went with their 18-year-old son. And at one point, Amber was so mean to the 18-year-old son that he like cried. It was like an argument started. And he was like, my God. Then they had this woman come, Dr. Curry, who spent 12 hours with Amber evaluating her, a psychiatrist. And she said she's histrionic, which is something we don't hear a lot about, but I'm telling you, more people are this than you think. And it's like this weird, it's different than she has personality disorder, and histrionic is like kind of like you think of yourself as like a bigger person, more important than you are. I just remember a perfect example of it when I heard about it was like when someone would refer to their doctor by their first name. Like, I'm seeing Jan today. And you're like, Jan who? Yeah, I've got to get a pap smear. I mean, you're like, you mean Dr. Jones? Like, yeah, Dr. Jan. We're buddies. Like, just like things like that. Like, there's like a weird...
That's what that means, histrionic. I thought that meant like chaotic with your emotions.
Let me see if I have anything of the description of it in here.
I mean, I was reading the evaluation, and then I get that thing where I'm like, am I all these things?
Oh, here it said, okay, Dr. Curry said in court Tuesday, there's information that supported, in a conclusion, the evaluation that heard from multiple, okay, wait. Yeah, I mean, okay, basically, I'm just going to go through it. So she's, look, she's got psychological problems that makes her an asshole.
Right.
I mean, like, sometimes I'm like, what's diagnosed and what's just like you're kind of not a great person.
You're a
so
dick.
she makes up stuff. She also gets obsessed with whoever she's involved with. So that's where she made her apartment bohemian. She dressed bohemian. She dresses like him. Like, she's obsessed with looking at him in court. She dresses like him in court. It's very, very bizarre. Johnny, I mean. And okay, so the one of the juiciest thing that came out that I forgot to talk about last week is that her attorney said that she used this Milani concealer to cover up her bruises, and she always had it and everything. Well, the company came out, or someone for the company came out and said that particular concealer that was brought up in court wasn't even invented until a year after the supposed supposed domestic abuse that happened.
And she said she carried it around in her purse.
Yeah.
And that she would mix two shades. So at first I was just like, well, whatever. I'm sure she just was like, I carried concealer. And then this is just an example. But the lawyer said she mixed two specific shades that didn't exist at the time.
That's what it was. So
the devil's in the details, man. You got to keep it more generic. You're going too in on the details here.
So I'm sure that might come up later, like at the conclusion, now that the other side has that information. Meanwhile, this other guy just testified it today, and this was a taped deposition from like January. But he was this cute guy who worked at the building that they all lived at, where one of the domestic violence claims happened. And the attorney for Amber Heard is asking him, while he does this deposition in his car.
Oh, that looks like a video you'd post on Instagram.
I know, but it was like, and he's like, she's asking him all these makeup questions. Do you know what kind of makeup she used? Do you know what kind of shade of makeup she used? And he's like, I mean, I just kind of look at people in the eyes. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to, like, be critical. Like, if one eyebrow is off or their eyelashes uneven, like, oh, my God. And then he goes, I'm so tired of this case. Like, get away from, like, and I'm like, oh, my God, everyone is feeling like this. Like, this case is just, like, making my head
What
go
a wonderful
crazy.
catch, though, that he's not so critical that he's like, well, she has one wonky eye, but it's fine.
Yeah, he's
I'm not
like,
gonna
I mean,
focus in
I
on
don't
it.
want to say, like, oh my God. And then, like, Johnny's like laughing in it. And I mean, and then the biggest thing that made her weird, which is the psychological weird thing, is people who want people to see their shit. And as you know, they got in a bad fight and she shit on the bed.
Is that part of the diagnosis? Is that she has this thing, she wants people to see her shit?
Well, that people, the whole shitting thing and like people that wouldn't flush toilets and stuff, that's some other weird thing that I have not studied.
Like Bethany's guy went around and shit and all the...
Right, and don't flush it.
Yeah,
And like, yeah.
when he left.
And then, yes. Oh, Bethany's ex. Yeah, Bethany Frankel. So she shit in the bed. She tried to say it was a little Yorkie, but according to everything else, people
Everyone
think
knows a human shit. We all do.
Yeah.
I found one in my backyard. I go into my gardeners, take a shit back here. That's human shit. That's not from an animal. I swear.
That's not even shit. It's actually a little Yorkie.
I think they didn't. I think it was part of the reason they didn't think it could be a Yorkie shit is not only the size of the Yorkie, but also it was like a high bed and the Yorkies couldn't get on the bed.
Yeah. There's a million
So
reasons.
I actually had a dog shit in the bed right next to me as I slept. Jill Zarin's Ginger. Couldn't get off.
we love Ginger.
Couldn't get off the bed, and I was sharing a bed with her one trip in Miami, and the little dog, and I was like, Jill, and like,
Jill's like, Heather, here's your room. That's Ginger's. You're going to share with Ginger. And then
No,
you and
Jill
Ginger,
was in the
you're
bed
like,
with
Good
me.
night, Ginger. Oh, okay.
No, we were sharing a bed, and Ginger
it was
was
just you and
between
Ginger.
us. And I guess, Ginger was old, and she was blind, and she was mad at Johnny Depp. And she,
She's like, look at my shit.
Well, Ginger has
Heather.
had a history of histrionic.
Yeah.
Ginger was a little histrionic.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so anyway, rest in peace, Ginger. But so the shit in the bed happened. And the people are talking. I saw a really funny thing, but I couldn't post it because I didn't know it didn't have credit on it. But it was, have you heard of Elf on a Shelf? Well, how about Amber Heard on a turd?
And it was her on a turd.
It was her sitting on a giant turd.
It just needs to be all different ones of it. We should get a calendar. Now, do they ever show a picture of the poo?
Yes.
Have you guys seen it?
And it was like smeared, like a little bit smeared. So like Hattie, and she put the cover over the bed. So Hattie crawled into bed. He might have seen it, but like security or something had seen it and saw it and all of that. But we still haven't heard from her on the stand. So obviously her stories are going to be her stories and they're not going to be good. It's going to be a matter of do you believe her stories or not?
I don't think she's very likable in general.
No.
And I mean, I blame them both and don't, care. But I really do think that, because as embarrassing as this is for Johnny Depp and like his outfits and everything and like his face and his ponytail and stuff. But I think Johnny Depp came out of that. The general consensus of people who don't, really do their research is that he had beat her up. She had these
Right.
bruises, which they have said are fake. We don't know if they are. I don't necessarily
Well,
believe
people
they're
think
fake.
she used that makeup to make the
Oh,
bruises.
to make the bruises.
Yeah.
I think that they were violent towards each other. So I'm not necessarily, but I know he's going through all this because he's like, I'm now branded a wife beater. I have grown children. I never did that to anyone.
Right.
They were just a bad, toxic, drunk. And so but I do think by the time she gets up there, I think she has a sinister vibe. Mm-hmm. Her energy just is sinister to me. And I don't know that she's very likable, but if she is, I guess then I don't know what we're doing here. Are we trying to get money?
Yes, she's suing. He's suing for 50. No, wait. Oh, he's suing for 50 million, and she's countersuing for 100 million.
There was a time when he had so much money, like more money than God. So he's like run through his money if you're going for 50 million.
Yeah, I mean, his movies made $10 billion, so it's like he was part of a $10 billion industry.
I mean,
Then they fired him 2 days after the article came out that she wrote.
Yeah. He lost all
And
this.
so,
Which,
but
by the
there
way,
were-
Julie's obsessed with pirates, so I can't say she wasn't.
But there
really
were
bummed.
texts. There were texts that he sent. One that I thought was kind of not great is that she's like, "I'm at a coffee meeting," and he's like, "What? What? No. He goes right. He wrote, "No meetings. What kind of genre of a meeting is this? No movies. Get home to me now." I don't know how. That's not from a Monty Python movie. Like he's like because he said like other
Right,
things
he
he
was
wrote were
joking.
jokes. So
When
I mean,
he said to Paul
controlling.
Bettany, "I hope I find her rotting corpse in the trunk of a Nissan Sentra."
Yeah.
Honda Accord.
Oh, Honda Accord. I
Right.
got those mixed up.
Yeah. And then he also like they have him reading his tweets, you know, and he does in that voice, you know, and he goes, "Is the slippery whore that I donated my jizz to staying there?" Like he just like he
Slow
reads
clap.
them. Yeah, he just reads
clap.
them.
Oh my
It's
God.
like,
The fact that he even knows how to work Twitter and then needs to say, "Is the slippery whore that
what
I
are your
donated?"
thoughts, Julie? Tell me your thoughts on all of this.
I love Johnny Depp. So
Okay.
I do have to say that. I'll put that out there. However, I was
Here,
very
look this way.
disappointed.
Look
I
at
was
me.
very
Yeah.
disappointed.
Yeah.
When you know, but you know, I understand they're both drunk. They're doing drugs for sure, and they're beating each other up, and they're going insane. He left his wife for her. He has no one else to blame but himself. And
She was a lesbian, quote unquote. At
She's
the time.
not. She's whatever she is. But she's whoever she is for whoever is going to give her money. She's an opportunist, is what she is, and she's insane.
She cheated
But
on him with Elon Musk.
yeah,
I mean,
like
she was going up the ladder. And who's the other one that James Franco? There was some rumors. There was James Franco's going
She's
to be
good,
called.
and then sitting in the thing. Now she's got some gross girlfriend, and that woman's gross, and just the whole thing. They're both just have become the height of their own toxic grotesqueness, and they should not be around each other. They should run away from each other as fast as they can so they can go heal the best that they can. I mean, I don't know that she can ever heal because she seems like she's truly like the devil. But and I don't know what he was like with that French wife, but they seem fine. He was with that French wife and they have those kids and nobody ever complained about getting beaten.
well,
They were
nobody
drinking
ever has said it. That's
Ever.
what is also
Yeah,
like,
so
that
it's
was
like,
not
I
the
don't-
case.
I
It's a
think
way to come in and ruin the Pirates franchise.
I mean,
Amber Heard.
just like you did, and I'm not saying that he wasn't going in whatever gross path he's going into, but he seemed to be a working alcoholic and drug addict with his French wife and kid and doing pretty good.
Doing just fine.
And doing fine. And
Well,
then
I
she
mean-
comes along and she triggers whatever, we don't know. But she's clearly
The other argument
Horrendous.
is, was his drinking and drug use to a level that he would have lost this stuff anyway. This will be
Yeah.
her defense. He would have lost this stuff anyway because no studio wanted to insure him anymore.
But he was doing all
be.
of that. I remember reading this Vanity Fair article. It was so good about he had one day off and this guy meets him at a hotel and he'd interviewed him 20 years before and they went on this crazy night. I mean, the guy throws up through the night. He can barely make it.
was
He's
like
like,
Fear and
please,
Because
Loathing.
he's
Johnny.
drinking so much Johnny.
And drugs. And he's like, please just give me an hour. And he's like, nope. And they just drug and drink the whole night through. And then he's like, there's your article, buddy. Bye. And the poor guy's like, I had to go to he's like, I need to go to detox. But he was doing all of that.
We had a mega pint of red wine. Where the guy goes, did you pour yourself a mega pint of red wine? That's like gone viral that he said that.
What is are we drinking out of pint glasses? Red wine?
I don't know.
Pint glasses?
Wow.
Yeah.
And
in
then
Well,
the
there is
meantime,
the one
he lost a lot of his
video.
money
There
on
is
a
the
lot of
one
wine.
video where she's filming him, and it was like right after his mother died. They're just like kind of arguing, and he pours himself this glass of he puts the phone is there, and he puts a glass there, and he fills it to like the brim. And she's like, "Oh, we're doing that now," she's kind of like egging him
Yeah.
on to all the recordings of these fights and stuff that make them both not look great. But
Right, and they're both egging each other on. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what are we in? Are we in DC here?
So-
are we is it Omarosa? Everybody's, the level they're recording each other is
Yeah.
so, that is
bizarre.
awful.
In the meantime, he found the time
yes,
to paint himself. He's also a painter.
oh, he's
And-
a painter.
Yes, you
as
can
well
go
as
on.
a comic.
Yes,
Okay. Yeah.
you can go on YouTube and see that he's pretty good, and he
Oh.
paints.
Is he as good as our former president, George Bush? George W. Bush's painter.
Yes, that's right.
I didn't know that.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. But he
A lot
does
of people
watercolors.
A
I
lot
think.
of people get into painting later in life. Rosie O'Donnell.
Right.
Howard Stern.
Yeah.
Right. Howard Stern is really good.
I had a fantasy that your listener who got all the scoop was the one who drew the courtroom drawings as well.
Steve Mango.
Yes, Steve Mango, the looks.
Well, you should go on YouTube and see. I don't want to hear him talk in normal. I only want to hear him talk in Pirates and also
Yeah, with, eyeliner.
Angelina Jolie in The Tourist and also
Yeah.
whatever other movies. But hearing him, it's too upsetting because he's such just a pretentious douche. But he goes on, he paints these things and is doing an NFT line.
Oh, good
And
Lord.
it's just
thought
like
that was already
Johnny,
over with.
Johnny,
Unfortunately.
Johnny,
Now,
come
so
on.
what's your prediction? What is your prediction?
I mean, I don't know how suing and countersuing works. I'm not.
It's all done in one thing. They'll either say this person's awarded this much or this or
Could
nothing.
they both win?
No.
Okay, so you can't go, okay, you
No.
get your 50 and you get your 100?
No. No.
Well, yeah, but that's still good.
No.
Because that's what I want to happen is just a hung jury, maybe?
No, it's that
Neither will get
it's
anything.
that he's suing, so if he gets awarded his money, then she gets nothing, or she gets something.
I definitely don't think she's going to get anything because it's his career that was destroyed, and she was going and doing what? I mean, like Magic Mike 2.
Well,
okay,
can
bitch.
she- yeah.
Okay, bitch.
You know,
just please.
Yeah, can she? But do people believe that she was abused? That's what it comes down to. And if it's so, then she had every right to write that article.
Well,
but
I thought he already gave her the money, and then
made
she lied,
up,
she
then
lied and
doesn't.
said she gave it to charity.
She didn't. Yeah, she didn't do that.
Okay,
she
so that
blew
was a
off her
lie.
hours too at the children's hospital.
Yeah, so he already had given her some money.
Yeah.
Which
So,
I definitely don't think she's going to win. Maybe they just both won't get
I don't think either is getting anything.
I think neither is getting anything, but his career will pick up. He will do some like killer like movie or Netflix series or something really cool, and he'll like be winning awards in the next 3 years.
Or I'll go on Dancing with the Criminals, Julie's favorite show, which she coined Dancing with the Criminals. So
I mean, if you do a small criminal act or try and steal people's identities, you will get on Dancing with the Stars.
Well, have they announced that Anna Delphi and Twitter Swindler are going to be
not
dancing
yet, but they will be. You just watch. You just
my
watch.
God.
You just
Julie's
watch.
waiting for Jussie Smollett. She thinks he's the
Oh,
next.
he's definitely going on. Jesse Smollett will be next. And he'll do same-sex partner.
That'd be good.
And he'll be like, "Don't drink me, I'm gay." And then he'll be like, "Totally." Oh, yes.
I don't think he is. I don't think he's liked enough, and I don't think he was big enough. I don't think so.
As opposed to Carol, whatever, Baskin.
Yeah.
I mean, like the level that they've had. And what's his name? Bogdanovich? Not Bogdanovich, but.
Oh yeah,
whatever
exactly.
that
Yeah,
guy,
like
who-
from
or
the
lady.
Chicago guy who got who
Just-
stole
they
all
just
the
had
money.
A ton of criminals on there.
Ton.
Oh.
And then Rudy Giuliani was just on The Masked Singer. Rudy Giuliani was on The Masked Singer. Okay,
I think
We don't
he
need
will-
to-
I think he'll have his career. I think will come back. I mean, Marlon Brando was sitting there with a mouthful of chestnuts, reading off cue cards, and like high as a kite. And
Sean Connery slapped plenty of women, and it was fine for the world. Nobody cares. And what's going on here is not like they were in a mutually violent, terrible, awful relationship. I don't believe that I don't think that he's a man who goes around and does that to women. I think
Do you think
that
he
she
will-
brought that out in him, and they did it to each other.
Do you think he will be the poster child for men in their mid-50s not to marry girls who are bisexual
Yes.
in their late 20s?
No one should.
Well, that's
No
the
one
thing
should.
that every woman feels, whether you admit it or not. Deep down, it's just like,
Told you
sorry,
so.
just desserts, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't have gotten with the girl that was a lesbian. That was already annoying. And then it was like she was so much younger, and it was just cringe eye roll. Like, just get with Angelina Jolie then,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, crucify each other and stuff. Do that kind of stuff. And even get with Megan Fox.
Okay, Britney Spears. The latest
You're-
with Britney
You're
Spears.
always our updater on Britney.
The latest with Britney Spears is that she was announced she was pregnant. She continued to do her fashion shows in her jean shorts and her crop tops. Then she posted, by the way, all those videos were done before I was pregnant. Then
Does she want to tell us that because she was like on drinking, or like why does that matter?
because her stomach's still really flat, and she
Oh.
said she was pregnant.
But I mean, your stomach stays flat for like 3 months, right?
Okay.
Oh, but she might be past her first trimester.
Okay, that's what you want to believe.
Oh, okay.
So then,
Oh, it
then
was all
she,
a troll?
Then she does this little baby, like dressed up, and she's like, "I'm going to take a social media break." But then she, and I don't have it here. Oh no, I do. But then she said, "I can't resist. I have to do this fashion show," and she put on her brown sensible pumps. And she danced around in this outfit and all these like matronly type of outfits.
Are these the pumps she wore when she did the lawyer sketch you showed us?
She wears them all the time. They're her
Okay.
favorites.
Okay.
And there have been other, Chris Frangiola said he believed he saw a pet poo in the back of one of the videos. Oh, no. I posted a little clip of us talking about it. Her assistant wrote that's not a poo, that was a leaf. And I took the video.
The assistant.
And I said, well, then why don't you clear out the if you're into the
Leaves.
video?
Yeah.
It's like, so anyway, there was another photo, I don't have it, where people pointed out what looked to be like another pet poo. When she
Brittany, if you're watching this, I love you, and I believe you're pregnant.
okay, hey, I'm just saying. Then she goes, sorry, I know I went on a big social media break, but I had to show you these outfits. So then she modeled in all these dresses. And
What is going on? Did she do one of her famous sketches, like her hilarious bridesmaids reenactment, or the lawyer one? Nothing.
No.
Nothing in these matronly,
no.
business sensible.
Yeah, but from the 20s, still looking Victorian,
Yeah, she did.
still looking turn of the century.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about her, but every time she posts something.
Then the only photo that she posted, like pregnancy-wise, is she did post an old photo of her when she was pregnant with one of her other kids.
So you're feeling she's taking a break because she's desperately trying to like inseminate, turkey-based, anything to get pregnant?
I'm terrified of the Britney stans, okay? Free Britney.
And
But
you should
I
be.
am feeling compelled to put this at the end of the show.
So you can cut it out if you have to.
I want to be wrong. I don't believe that she is currently pregnant. It does not make sense to me. I think that maybe she jumped the gun, made the announcement. I think she wants it so badly, and now it's like, now what do we do? So let's take a break from social media. I don't know. Like, where's the ultrasound? Where's the, if you're
Right.
showing us all this, where's that?
Yeah.
And
Maybe she told too early. And then, I mean, that's why people don't tell that early. because
exactly. Maybe that was
this-
it.
Yeah.
Maybe it never was. Maybe it was wrong.
Maybe,
Maybe
just
it was.
couple, like a week late.
And I just
their
think,
period.
like, maybe she'll come back in like a month, and then just nobody will question her about it because they're just gonna be like, "So happy you're back, girl. We still love you."
Or she'll
and-
come back pregnant, but she'll just be, the timeline will be off. Like, wasn't that what happened with, what's her name? Old
Phaedra?
Baldwin? Yeah, didn't Hilaria, wasn't her whole timeline off as well? or something with
no, her
preg-
whole thing I
No.
thought was that she just didn't have an accent. It wasn't
Oh.
that
No,
the thing?
there was something with her pregnancy.
She
Oh, I didn't
also
know
had people also questioned different pregnancies, but she did have a baby via surrogate because she.
Oh, because
she
then she's like doing body posts, and then later it's
Oh,
like,
right,
you
right.
didn't even have the baby. Someone
Right.
else did.
Yeah, she has like two babies that are like less than 9 months apart because she lost one, then went forward with a surrogate, then got pregnant right after. So then she had the one in her stomach come out, and then the one that was cooking in someone else. So that's why. But now she's pregnant with the seventh,
Or
supposedly.
could Britney have a surrogate pregnant?
Jesus Christ.
Because that could be something she's trying to do too.
I mean,
How
if
long
that,
is
if,
this
that,
break
if,
gonna
that,
take?
if that is the case, I just don't know why she would talk about like my body in the water and like my little, this is my little baby, and like, I don't know.
How long do you predict this break will be? 1 month? Is that what she said?
Well, it wasn't 1 month. It was like 30 hours. So I don't know.
Before she came back?
I don't know.
Doing,
We'll see.
doing
listen,
Newsies.
I like
Yeah, exactly. Newsies.
She wants to be a mom again and carry a baby. I hope it happens. But okay, here's
Yeah,
another
good for
look.
her. Oh, yep. It's also like the dresses aren't zipped up in the back.
Well,
You
yeah,
know
I
what
guess they
mean?
weren't tight.
She's
Yeah, so
like
she's
holding
it
it.
back,
She's just
yeah.
like, what about this one? And then no, and then you know what I mean? Like you do when you try those things.
I'm just Real
one
Housewives of
minute.
Beverly Hills is coming this week.
Oh, it's coming on this week?
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh, Erica
Did
Jane,
you
her best
wop
friend.
out over the trailer or what?
I cannot say anything, but I've seen the episode.
Heather. Oh my
And
God. Does it
It
deliver?
makes up for the boring Real Housewives of OC and any disappointment you felt in the franchise with New York or even a little bit of New Jersey. I think it's going to be made up for it.
Do they go right into like, do they do the thing where they show you the drama and then they go 9 months earlier?
They show a little drama and they go 3 days earlier.
Okay.
But I don't want to get in trouble because I
Okay.
like getting the screeners, so I'm not going to say. But it's worth it. And I also want to say I was on the right side of history when, in my opinion, and I still am, about Dorit. When
What was your
Dorit was robbed, people questioned it. And I said, I believe it. I totally believe it. And I think that's going to be a big storyline. And I think I was on the right side of history.
People questioned that robbery?
Yes.
Oh, well, I wanted to know, did you? I thought you got invited to Kathy Hilton's one of her Christmas parties.
I did many years ago. She never invited me again.
We're kind of like obsessed with Kathy Hilton right now, even though she's probably going to be dragged to hell.
She's going to get
destroyed.
dragged to hell, yeah.
We're going to try to... We don't know the details, but we're going to try to stand by Kath. Right now, we're really in a Paris and Kath hole. I literally was like, Heather went to Kathy's Christmas party.
So long ago, though. Like, really long ago.
She didn't even have one this year, so...
She didn't know good. That makes you feel better.
Yeah, she didn't.
Yeah, we're going to see. We didn't see Kathy. You don't see... I mean, we'll see what happens. But anyway...
What were you going to say about Erica? Anything?
Oh, just Erica. She said, I don't want to ruin the show. Just watch the show. But it's good.
Well, the trailer shows her saying, "I only care about myself." Now that could be out of context with our good friend Erica.
No, I think that's her attitude still.
Okay.
So this is a guy, Giorgio says, and Bravo Holics actually posted this and he talked about it. But this is Louis. How do you feel about Louis, Teresa's fiance? They pulled up photos from Turks and Caicos where he took the same photo with different women, including Teresa, every year at this resort. But it does look like kind of the spot where you take the photo.
Yeah, it's a different pool each time, right?
Wait, no, it wasn't. What 2016 was, but the other ones are all the same.
Oh, it's all the same.
Right.
The other ones are all the same.
Maybe he has a condo there or something. Like at that
it's like a resort. Who cares?
Okay.
I mean, that's going to happen. Whatever.
We're going to watch we didn't watch Jersey. We are going to watch Reunion because we live and stay on a reunion. Now, was it good?
The reunion hasn't come out yet. It's coming out next week. The episode just ended last night. And the whole thing was Margaret asked questions about Louis, and Teresa was like, "Don't try to break my love bubble. Like, you know what he did in the past doesn't matter about the future, And he basically comes clean. He goes, "Look, I got divorced when I was 35," and he goes, "I had some thirsty, toxic exes, and I had these bad relationships, but I love your sister," he says to Joe Gorga. "And I want to ask her to marry me next week or whatever when we go to Europe." And, then Margaret's like, I love you, Teresa. I've always supported you. I'm just asking questions. He should have been honest about it, And,
honest about what? How many exes he had?
No, honest about when he did that. He did this video where he went to like a alpha male, like Christian, be a man, boot camp kind of a thing. And they're like in Laguna, and there's all these guys behind them, and they're sweating,
Oh my God, Julie's,
and he's talking to his fiance or who he wants to be his fiance, some girlfriend from the past. That girlfriend obviously had the video. It wasn't a good breakup. Saw he became famous, gave it to Bravo and Cocktails. Bravo and Cocktails shared it, and it got out there while they were filming. So while they were filming, Margaret's like, "Are we not going to talk about this video that we all saw? We all follow the same people." And so he basically is like, "I love you. I want to make our family better. I want to get married to you. I want to blend her." Anyway, they end up getting divorced. But at one point, not divorced, they end up breaking up. But at one point, he brings up the video and he says, "I was breaking up with her in that video." So then Margaret's like, "Why did he lie on camera?" And it's like, whatever. I mean, in some ways, look, it'll be interesting to see where they are in a few years. But in some ways, I was like, I had a little bit of sympathy for him.
Well, he's allowed to date people after his divorce, even if he constantly falls in love, I guess.
Yeah, he dated, but the claims from the other women are like, physical abuse and some, not good things. Then he goes, "Well, one of my girls that I was engaged to, whatever, put a butcher knife to her ex-husband. Allegedly, says that." So it's like they're both kind of like, it just doesn't look good.
He went to a retreat for alpha males, a Christian retreat. I don't care how many women he fucking got with. That's the problem.
Yeah.
He could have fucking fucked every woman on the face of the planet and had married 14 of them. He went to a retreat for alpha Christian males. You should I can't.
Well, we don't know for sure because we're not watching.
And
it.
I don't know.
We are happy
I don't know
for
if he's
Teresa.
described
I
as
can't.
alpha Christian, but
We're
I
happy
just
for Teresa,
Got
though,
it.
of course.
Got it.
Of course,
Well,
we're happy for
we love
Teresa,
Teresa.
and she seems
But then
happy, and as long as he's nice to
then
her.
he gets
but,
annoyed at the end, and he goes, "Let's go to our 50,000 square foot house." Which I'm like, "There's no way that house is 50,000 square feet." But whatever. He goes, "Let's go to our 50,000 square feet. You don't have to work. You don't have to be part of this. I don't have to be part of this." And isn't that a beautiful thing? And so then it's like, ooh, is this the red flag? The little bit of like, you're mine, controlling, and then like all that kind of stuff.
Well, the reunion looks pretty juicy. Like they're going to be all fighting, and
We don't ever get to see his personality, though. We never really got to see his personality. We never like chuckled or got to know him.
On Girls Trip, all they're doing is kissing and holding each other's faces and kissing.
I mean, all they
love letters.
all they show is just kind of him being there with her and being sweet when they're like alone, like off to the corner, and then he has fun with the guys a little bit, but we never really get to see like, is he a great guy? I don't know. Like they didn't show. I'm sure there's footage of him being like pretty enjoyable, but we don't really get to see it.
But it's kind of good when the guy just bugs off. Stay out of women's business. In the words of Nene.
Yeah.
Peter, stay out. I mean, not your Peter, but the other Peter. Stay out of the women's business. Stay out
the
of
worst Peter ever
on
television.
Do you remember? Oh my God, what was her name? She was on Montel Williams all the time.
That like predictor lady.
The psychic.
Oh
psychic,
my God.
Sylvia Brown.
Yes.
I loved Sylvia Brown on Montel Williams. It's a little Juicy Scoop history. I found a TikTok of a girl who found one of her old books at like a thrift store. And let me zoom in. This is one of her books from 20 years ago.
Was she dead?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, then she
in
doesn't
around
even enjoy this. That's a
in
bummer.
around 2020, a severe pneumonia-like illness will spread throughout the globe, attacking the lungs and bronchial tubes and resisting all known treatments. Then she says, she goes, then it'll be over before you know it, which that wasn't exactly
Trump
true.
must have read that.
But then it'll come back in 10 years.
Oh, great.
But she was wrong about so many other things. Wow.
Like what?
Like, oh my God, there's videos of her getting it wrong so many times. Like
So
someone
many times.
would be like on the someone would say, I lost my, my lover, my husband, whatever, in 9/11. And then she'd be like, this was it. She was like, I know how you lost your lover. He was drowning or whatever. And it was like, no, he was a firefighter who was like crushed in the buildings in 9/11 in New York. And so it was like, how could he have been drowning? And then she was like, well, when they sprayed water to,
Maybe it's like drowning because you lose your oxygen.
Yeah,
that's what
that's
she should have
true.
said.
I don't know, but she's been wrong about a lot of things. And there was one
She
that
was
she's
amazing.
like, someone said, my child is missing and this and that. And she's like, he's dead and this, or, and then they found out the child wasn't dead. Like years later, the child was found. And so she was wrong about a lot of stuff.
The psychic in person, like that thing of like the guy on E, that kid.
Tyler Henry,
Yeah, like
he's on Netflix now, but no one's talking about it.
I think that stuff is harder than this. She got to sit down, read through the cards, look at her crystal ball, and do whatever they do. And I think the book, I would be interested in seeing the book now.
Yeah.
And
also, what did she take from Nostradamus? Because they all take from that, too. The main one.
because I don't really believe in a lot of those in person. Like, what's the New Jersey lady? Even though we love that show.
Oh, Long Island Medium?
Yeah, that was great.
Oh, this TikTok is by Strangest Things.
Strangest
Things with a Z one.
One, yeah. And anyway, so
We gotta find.
Yeah,
out.
we need to get that book.
I guess they've said this post was originally taken down, so they should have put it back up.
And Montel loved her too. Is your name Nancy?
I loved her because she had these long nails, and she'd be like,
smoked. She could tell she chain smoked.
yeah, well.
and
Yeah.
that must have been what
Gruff.
killed her.
And she'd be really
Yeah.
like ask me anything. She would just be like, just ask me something like, ask me about your life, like about like your future or something, what you should do.
I'm scared I'm never going to have any children.
You're not.
Yeah.
You're not, but that's okay. That's okay. Because you're going to, in about a year and a half, you're going to find the career you're really supposed to have.
Oh, really?
And you're going to meet a man and he's going to have a child. So you're going to be a mother, but you're not going to have your own.
Okay, what
Next.
if I... Oh.
Yes?
Hi. I just can't.
She was like that blunt. Like, you're like, oh, okay, yeah.
I just can't seem to lose the weight.
Well, you're allergic to dairy. That's what it is, Montel. There's a lot of people. What people don't know is that there's a lot of people that have all the calories go into one spot. Remove the dairy,
My God,
and
thank
start
you.
eating watermelon.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
We got to find some of those clips.
Do you have another question? I've got a feeling this. Just ask me.
I can't seem to get a job. I don't know what the problem is. Am I ever going to work again?
It's a problem, Montel, with everybody. You need to get into computers.
Okay. So we need to get. Huh.
I have a
Computers
question
are
about
gonna
my
be
mom.
the next big thing.
My aunt has been missing. My mom has not talked to her sister. She went missing sometime like in the early aughts. We don't know.
Drugs.
Wow.
She didn't want anyone to know. But she was addicted to... Montel, this is so hard. It was a mixture of different drugs. She didn't mean to die, but she did.
Oh, she's dead. She's not just.
No. She's
drug
gone. She's gone.
These things check out though.
Yeah.
They sound good. I mean, you could actually do this, and it probably
It's
9
so
times, like 5
good, but
times
the
out of 10.
only the
you'd be
ones
right.
I've seen on YouTube are the ones like debunking all the time she was wrong about stuff. But like, I loved it. I was obsessed with it and how she'd eat her nail and everything.
We need to see the ones where she's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Girls.
Oh God.
I'm so sorry to hear about my aunt. I mean, I think it was I know she loved a
So
painkiller.
speaking of our predictions today, we're going to end on the predictions.
Okay.
Sorry to say it, I don't think Britney's pregnant. Second of all, I think Blac Chyna's going to get nothing, and then the Kardashians she'll owe the Kardashians like $600,000 for legal fees, and Johnny Depp and Amber each gets nothing. Go. What do you think?
Okay, one, I will be glad if Britney's not pregnant, and I say that with love.
Okay.
I'll be like a little relieved. I think she needs a little more time.
Okay.
I think that those lawyers must cost more than $600,000.
Okay.
Just from knowing Roy Black, so he makes probably $600,000 a day.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say if she does lose, I mean, unfortunately, she just pay her own lawyers too. I think.
No, she doesn't.
Oh, she doesn't.
No, because they were suing, hoping to get the money and then take 40%.
Okay. I don't. You're probably right. I think you're right, but I hope that they have to pay her just a couple million.
Okay.
Yes, I believe that Britney Spears is. I think that she might have gotten pregnant for a second and then lost it, and I agree with Brandy. I hope that she gives it a minute because. And
As much
said
as
with
we
love,
all want,
said with love, love Britney,
no car
love.
seat, Cheetos on the thing. We want it
Just,
all,
you
but
know,
we need to.
I think that Blac Chyna is going to get a couple million. And I think the Kardashians are going to have their lawyers create something where in order to get that money, she's going to have to bug off. She's going to be able to see her own kid, and that's going to be it. And if she ever tries anything again, I think that the document they come up with that she will sign
And
will
then she'll
destroy her life.
Well, just she
Yes.
won't be able to go lurk on their shit anymore.
I think she's gonna get a couple mil,
And you better fucking behave.
and if you don't, we're going to destroy you, and you'll never see that kid again. That I bet you that's in there. And then what was the other one? Oh, Amber
Yeah.
and Johnny. No one's getting anything, and just Johnny.
and do you predict?
please.
Oh, and you think
Yeah.
that he'll start getting work? Because I
Definitely.
100.
As tragic
Yes.
as a lot of this was, I feel rehab his image.
but
in
I don't,
terms of-
and I think her career will be over.
Oh.
yes,
over.
and we can only hope.
Yeah, she will not be
over.
getting parts in anything.
Thank
She's
God.
gonna try and do some stunts. She'll definitely try and do some stunts. You know what I mean?
Like,
But
what do
you mean thirst
stunts?
traps?
Yeah, like she'll do some stunts. Like
Yeah,
she's
stunt
already
queen.
got with some dumbass lesbian who's working with her.
Yeah.
and that idiot. And so they're gonna now. She's gonna.
Yeah, she'll go get into some like non-binary throuple with like.
Yeah.
It'll be all bullshit. It'll be all her stunting to get whatever she's trying to get.
But I
Johnny's
do
coming
think
back.
it's going to be hard when she takes the stand and trying to discredit someone who's talking about physical abuse, and that's going to be a hard thing to see. But we'll see. It hasn't happened yet. All right, girls. Tell everybody where they can follow you and all your fun.
Just go to our website, julieandbrandy.com. We have a political podcast. It's a liberal political podcast. If you don't think you can handle it, we have been recently. not been able to get jobs because our shit is too extreme. Apparently we're like QAnon, but on the other end.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm like high five for us. Like,
All right.
like
I didn't think we were that extreme, but apparently we are.
so
Okay.
and that's free. And then
Well, at least you could always keep your tweets on then, right?
Yeah,
Now that
just
Elon is there, go.
just keep it. Yeah, we're
Right,
gonna keep it
right.
rocking.
Yeah.
And then just go to our website, julieandbrandy.com. We have a Patreon podcast that costs money. It's not politics. It's not gossip or tea. It's really just like, and this could be another reason we don't get jobs. It's like us doing whippets and weird illegal shit like that.
we go to escape rooms. We're going to be talking about Days of Our Lives next week.
All
Just
right.
let's
okay.
get into
It sounds fun.
Yeah,
And
riveting.
mine is heathermcdonald.net, where you can get all the Juicy Scoop merch. I have a scrunchie for my hair. I have sweats. I
the
have
sweats are cute.
Cute sayings. I have socks. We have the dog bibs. The little
Oh.
what do you call it? Handkerchiefs? Bandanas.
Oh, that's cute.
I have I'm a delight for your baby. Phone cases. We got it all. And everyone, thank you so much.